There we're going live. There we are. Look at us again. Look how prompt we are. So I'm talking again to Mike Reed today, and we're hoping that Brad Price is going to jump on with us. Yes. How are you?
I used to be a unicorn.
Well, what have you been doing today, Mike?
Well, I was out at the Capitol climbing up the side of it.
Really?
And then I jumped on my jet and flew back here so I could do this. No, I'm looking, I have a golden doodle, like about 70, 80 pounds. And since I've been wounded, I don't have a chance to brush her and get all that done. And she's got kind of the natted, she looks good running around the yard. She looks like rock and roll Sammy Hagar doodle dog or something. But it's kind of natted and kind of a mess. And she's just going to have to get it cut down. So I was at my vet here in Branson one day, and I met some lady with abracadabra boarding and grooming.
Really?
And, she complimented. Yeah, she complimented me. She's like, "Well, you did a good job on your dog." So I thought I'd look them up, and they were pretty nice. I don't like to get the dogs groomed because a lot of times they got to go ahead and shave them down pretty close, the hair to get all that out of there. And I just don't like that.
Well, that's not fun. So a lot of people really enjoyed the podcast yesterday. And so
they did. I saw that.
Yes, I enjoyed that too. I really did. And now that you've got your microphone set and everything sounding good, let's start by saying, what are a few more members of Crane for you?
Huh? A few more members of Crane?
Memories of Crane.
Oh. Well, Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho. Let's see. Crane. What did I do in Crane? All the guys I went to school with, we ended up playing in bands together.
Okay.
And I think it's because I owned enough guitars. I let them all use the guitars. And
who were those guys?
Do what?
Jeff Kimes was one of them, but who else?
Jeff Kimes was one of those. Jeff lived right down the street from me. Right. Of course, in Crane, you kind of live right down the street from everybody, Yes. Who else down there? I mean, gosh, I guess we kind of had that circle, Jeff Kimes, Bobby Eaton, Kent Brusso, Alan Ellingsworth. He was a guy. Great. Later on, me and Alan used to race go-karts.
Really?
Yeah, we used to travel around the country and do it. And I haven't seen him forever. And of course, the Perry Vaught thing, my dad sponsored him, so I was always gone to the races with him. Bruce Richardson.
Right. And Westrup too, right?
Fred Barnes, you remember Fred?
Yes.
We'd go to the races in Monette, and Fred'd say, well, on a Sunday night, Fred'd say, my parents said we got to go to by church first.
Okay.
Well, nothing wrong with church, but I was going to the races. So I'd like, Fred, we're going to whip in here to Dog and Suds or A&W or whatever. We're going to get a hot dog before we go to church. I always did enough things where I go, oh, shoot, Fred, church has already started, man. We're 15 minutes late. I guess we'll just go to the racetrack. And Fred would be like, okay, let's go.
Yes.
I don't know.
There he is. He's coming on. Let me get him on here. I see Brad in the building here.
Oh, and
is correct?
I guess I should have said Brad Price. Okay. Steve, that was my bass player.
Yes, Steve Miller. There we are.
Was that his last name, Miller?
Steve Miller, yes.
I guess it was. Well, I don't even remember.
It was Cluck at one point, and then it was Miller.
He is a talented guy, let me tell you. Man, he can sing. And he has a lot of fun. It's just hard when you're young to keep bands together.
Oh, yeah.
And, and for years and years, I would use a band name. And then it ended up being like Mike Reed or Michael Reed and Dixie.
Right.
Until I had some people one time say, why don't you just use your name? Because that way, anytime you go back, that's what's going to be there. Not necessarily, oh, well, where's that guy? And where's that guy? And I started doing that. And it was kind of cool in those days because I remember a club in Oklahoma and they'd have a thing on the wall that said, this week, some guy named Ronnie Dunn was there. And And the next week, some guy named Marty Sturt. They had his picture.
Yes.
Next week, Mike Reed. And I was like,
Wow.
cool. I got my picture up here with these people.
Yes.
And yeah. And I guess we had that circle of friends. It's not like there was enough people your age that you could have like 25 friends,
Right. In Crane, definitely.
No, I think a lot of my friends were on Kearney Street in Springfield.
Yes.
That's what we all did for fun. It's like there's a cruise strip in Springfield. We can go there and just drive up and down.
Well, and tell me about the transition between the Kid Band and Dixie. How did that happen?
Oh, and Randy Bowling, he was a great friend too.
Okay, yes.
Okay, the Kid Band and Dixie. Okay, Kid Band. I'll try to do it quick. Kid Band, I'm in
You don't do anything quick, Mike. That's fine. Take your time.
I'm in Ponca City, Oklahoma. I had heard of some new band that came out called Alabama, and I'm like, man, these guys sound pretty good, really.
Right.
I grew up in the Ozarks, and I've been playing all this rock, but I can understand what they're saying and the words. And my dad always said, why don't you play some country? I said, well, I like it, but, well, you grew up in the Ozarks. No. Ponca City, Oklahoma, went out to a Walmart. And back in those days, what was it? I guess it was a cassette tape you'd buy and put it in your old Sony Walkman. Right. And laid out at the pool one afternoon, and I listened to side A of Alabama, side B, side A, side B, side A, side B. Right. I decided I better go in and take a shower and rest a little before that night. Well, so that night I became the Rockin' Red Lobster. I was red, but I heard a lot of Alabama songs and they were really good. So it was like that night on stage, or maybe the next night, here I am on stage. I got a headband around my head and I got the long curly hair and flying V. And on stage, I scooted over to some of the guys. I go, guys, I'm going to start playing country music. And they're like, what? I go, yeah. I go, you can keep the Kid Band name. It's okay. But I'm going to start doing country. Well, it ended up probably 75% of the guys that played in the Kid Band. Like I remember a guitar player. He's like, man, I went down and traded my Marshall amp in on a PV. He said, I'm gonna be playing country, so I got me a PV amp. And the whole band was like that. And then we ended up getting the bus, and we were making more money at clubs, and the country thing was getting really big. And I'd see some of the old band members, the old rock guys, and I'd say, you guys still running around that school bus? Look what we got. We have a bus. And so that was just the transition. I mean, I heard Alabama and I'm like, man, that's kind of like souped up country, it's country, but it's kicking. And I just decided I'm just changing the format. I'm just going to do something different. And it was fun. So through my life, I've played all kinds of stuff. And then I was a DJ. So I had to, in Nashville, so I had to know all the old stuff as well as the new stuff, as well as the hip hop and the rap, which, if somebody asked me about some song, I just go, if I didn't have a clue what it was, I'd be like, man, that's a great song. I love that song, but I don't have it. I don't have it with me. But, and then sometimes they'd ask for a song, and I'm not getting into racist stuff or anything, but, it'd be like, man, you got a song. I go, huh? You got it. I go, dude, I don't know what you're saying. I go, listen, I'm a country and an old rock guy. Look at me. I'm old. Right. And you're a hip hop rap guy. Okay. Right. We're both cool. You love your music. I love my music. We like some of each other's music, but man, here's a piece of paper and a pen. You're going to have to write out what song you want to hear. And, no, that was just, I take it for granted all through the years of playing and DJing and all that. In my brain is a big vocabulary of music. I mean, I've been around it my whole life. And you
played it at really high levels. And Brad Price said he can't come on here today, but we'll catch up with him again a later day.
Well, thanks a lot, Brad. Since I flew back from Washington, D.C.
car, so he was doing his best. He was doing his level best. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, sure. Well, okay, just because we're on the internet, we can do and you don't believe that I was in Washington, D.C. Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, that's awesome.
There we go. And then I stopped by Crane on the way back to see
Really?
Will Vaught. Yeah. Okay.
No.
And then somewhere along the way, there was a snowman. And hey, look at this. There's some puppets over in the corner. Can you see them?
Wow. Wow. What a great array of puppets. That's amazing.
Yeah, they're puppets. I'm a grown man with puppets, but they're cheaper than a date. You know, they really are. Ha!
But tell me about, because I was at the age where I just thought the kid band was so cool and the Dixie was so cool. And to talk about just that, was that hard? Was it easy? Tell me about that. Just the transition.
Well, the transition, I had the kid band, I had cool musicians. I mean, I had guys that were, everybody was their own character, and they were all a bunch of good looking guys and cool. You know, I told you I had a drummer that he'd wear little soccer shorts and his roller skates, and he had long curly hair, and he was an all-American drummer out of Minnesota or something.
Right.
He'd go to the bar and skate around, you know, roller skate in the bar before we started. But everybody in that band, that was just a cool rock band. I mean, it was one of those type of bands, if you'd had some type of management and money, it'd have probably done something, because it all had the looks, and it was, and it was a good band. Now, when I decided to do I decided to do the country thing, and the transition, I mean, it's just like snapping your fingers. I just said, I'm going to do country, because when I heard Alabama, and I was starting to hear the country thing, it was still Haggard and Jones and all that, but there were these new groups coming out that were, they weren't rock like we were, but they were rocking, but it was country. And I'm like, man, we can do that. And that's when in the band, I know Steve Miller, and he played bass, and I got him. Right. Steve was a real outgoing, fun guy, so I had him. So the Dixie band had several different members, but we had guys that were all kind of rocking, but we were country. I'll never forget, we were in one of those contests where you go all around the United States, sponsored by Wild Turkey or something, I don't know. And you could go and then go to the quarterfinals and semifinals and all that stuff.
Right.
And we went to somewhere in Oklahoma. We didn't have the bus. The bus was getting worked on, so we took a van off Dad's car lot in a trailer. Right. We had Chuck Warren drinking silver bullets by the dozen. And my dad, he'd just have a few little drinks, keep him happy. And and at this club where we was at, with Chuck Warren, they said, we have never seen a man drink that much. And and we were only a 3-piece band, but we were rocking. I mean, as a country band, like one of our songs was "Long Cool Woman in a Black Dress." I mean,
right.
like,
I remember
we were a country band.
I remember you playing that.
Huh?
I remember you playing that at the high school.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of, at that contest we was at, that was in Oklahoma, and there was a band show up, and they all had the matching shirts and the matching cowboy hats and all that. We were just 3 guys dressing cool, and we were had a little U-Haul trailer, and they looked at us. They had a big, nice band, and they're like, well, yeah, you guys just getting started, I guess, huh? You only got 3 in the band? Well, good luck. we won that thing, and they had all radio station people as the judges.
Right.
And they had to lock us in our dressing room, because these guys, they wanted to beat us up, because we were just those youngsters out playing country music loud. But we did that, and we won one of those contests at another town in Texas, and we won one in Oklahoma, and we won one in Springfield. My theory was, business is like, well, let's just travel around, and if we can win 6 or 7 of these, that's just easier to get to the finals.
Right.
Well, after we did all that traveling and everything, that turned into, well, you can only win one. You can only advance in one. So, but we had a lot of friends. I mean, in Texas, we had club owners going, the next round, we're going to rent a big bus and take like 50, 60 people to go cheer you on, you know. So we did, and I've had different people in town that knew me, that was booked me through the years. And they they all said, back in the day, because everything was just new then. It was a new generation of country music. They said you could have got somewhere if you'd had the management and the money behind you, and the right people. And they go, because you fit right in. You're younger, your hair was longer. You look. Sometimes I was cowboy hat, sometimes I wasn't, but
right.
And we did a lot of fairs. I learned a lot from some fair showcase people. They'd say, when you're at a fair showcase, like you go up to Columbia and every fair buyer in the state would be there.
Right.
And they said, when you step off that bus, you look like $1 million. Okay. You want them guys, because you got Bob that owns the hardware store and Bill that owns the gas station. And you got the locals there from some little town. And they're going to look at you when they hire you in their town. And when you step off that bus, they go, you don't have to have matching shirts, but they're going to go, see? They go, they're going to like you before you ever sing a note. They're going to go, see who we hired? These boys are good. And we had an agent, and this was so funny, at the fair showcases, he'd get a calendar, and he goes, just fill in a bunch of dates where you're going to be at in Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, all over the place. And then somebody come up to, we'd like to get these boys out in Wichita, Kansas, on the 11th of August. What do you think? The agent look on there and he go, well, they're booked that date, but if the price is right, I can move them to the 12th. It's going to be a long haul for them.
Yes.
Really? What are we talking? We'll do it. Let's do it. We booked more jobs because of fake stuff that we didn't really have. And it was fun. That was a blast. At my age now, I would still have fun doing that, but it's just, that's beating a horse with a broom or whatever you say.
Which one did you like playing better, rock or country?
I think for the time given, the rock thing was really cool because the rock band was really good and it was loud and it was thumping. And it was just, I had a singer, Paul Milner was his name. He lived in Springfield for a while, but he got married. But he's one of the best rock singers I've ever heard in my life. He's one I told you one time. The girls in clubs would just line up around the bar just to touch him. Right. And he was kind of like Garth Brooks when he sells a song, how he just kind of turns and looks at, if he's, his last little phrase, he just turns and looks at somebody. And this is how Paul was. Paul was just, here's the one I told you at the end of the night, he'd take his Rickenbacker and just toss it across the stage. Yes. But now that was all fun. But I'm business, and I could see we were on a one-way train track to nowhere, really. All we were ever going to do is play in bars. And we played, a lot of places around the country, big cities. And so to switch to the country thing, it was really cool because it was new. Country was really coming on right then. There were 1 million jobs out there, and people were just hiring country more. It just got real popular. And so I probably enjoyed that better because we could take the things we knew to do, like a show on stage, being fun on stage and having fun.
And you had the chops
and do it with country music.
Right.
And we could still do Haggard and Jones and stuff like that. But, and we were, I had a lady down by South Padre Island, and she'd always ask other friends of mine, is Mike playing again? Is he back to playing? And they said, nah, he's just in Nashville doing something or whatever.
Right.
And she goes, if he's ever playing again, you tell me, because I can book him 1,000 places.
Wow.
And then another agent said, here's the deal with Michael. And these are things people said about me, and I can slap myself on the shoulder.
Right.
They said, Mike's one of those guys, if the rest of the band don't show up, he'll still entertain you. It'll still be fun.
Well, let's move now to talk about the washboard.
Yeah.
About that.
Where's it at? Oh, it's not in here. Well, it's in the next room.
Use your words. Use your words. Tell me about it.
Washboard. The washboard is awesome. In fact, while you're talking to me,
okay,
I'm getting up without crutches.
Okay, good.
This Wounded Warrior tour.
Look at this guy. He's such a warrior, definitely.
Oh, I'm the version in the dictionary of full of it is what I am.
Right.
Oh, now wait a minute. I'm in that room that's got like 30 guitars and all that.
Okay.
Washboard's supposed to be in here. Well, I was going to show it to everybody.
Well, do that tomorrow. That'll be good for a later date. But
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But anyway, washboard. I would play the ski resorts. Mainly, we'd play Steamboat Springs a lot, and I've got a lot of friends out there. And this guy would come out, and his name was Washboard Willie.
Okay.
You can look him up on YouTube and find him. And he was cool. He's a young guy from the mountains, from Steamboat. His hair was a little bit longer and this and that.
Right.
And he'd come out, and he would always get up with my band and play. And it's a washboard with blocks and bells and all kinds of cool stuff. And people go, how do you get Willie out there? They go, he's got to where he don't ever show up anymore. I said, well, he just comes and sees us.
Right.
And I was just amazed by it because it's something you just don't see. You see the little Cajun thing or the little country thing.
Right.
But this is like full-blown Blue Man Group washboard type thing.
Right.
And I asked him one time, would you care if I made one of those and played it? And if you're ever around, we're at the same place, I won't do it. That's your thing.
Right.
But when I'm off out in the country running around, I'd love to do that. He said, man, I always wanted to play and sing and do what you do up there.
Right.
I said, well, and he said, no, that'd be great. So with the washboard, as I said, I got picked to be on America's Got Talent. I didn't have to audition. That was quite the experience.
Tell me about that.
But Washboard Willie, he's always like, man, how cool would it be if, because him and his wife, they just travel around the fairs and festivals around the country. And I said, how cool would it be if I could be at a fair with you sometime and me and you just do that, you know? Would that be, always said, man, that'd be awesome. And I just made one and started playing it. I've had people offer me all kinds of money for it. That's got a lot of stories. I had a lot of people say you're going to make a lot of money with that someday.
Right.
And I think so because it's a thing. You see it. Well, I did a Christmas party in Nashville for Warner Records.
Okay.
And every bigwig studio guy was there, everything. And they were doing karaoke. So I got the washboard out. I said, I'm like the little drummer boy. I go, I didn't have any gift to bring, so I just brought my drum. Well, it's a washboard.
Right.
So they were all laughing. The president of the company, which they were all laughing at me because I didn't know him. You don't know whatever his name was. I go, no. But anyway, I got it out, and immediately all the phones came out and the video and cameras, and they went nuts. Well, there was a real high-tech studio drummer there.
Right.
He was running around all night with his air drumsticks playing everything. And he comes up on stage. As soon as I got done, he said, how about you think I can play that? I go, well, I don't ever let anybody else play. It's just kind of my thing I do.
Right.
He goes, come on, let me play it. So immediately my brain said, it's not that easy to do.
Right.
And he wants to make a fool of himself. Yeah, let's do it. So I said, what song you want? And he named some song. I put it on because he's just going to play with it. And he sat down on a chair. He was awful. And at the end of it, he grabbed the microphone. He said, I just want to tell all you people, I'm a studio drummer. And that thing Mike's doing, he goes, man, that's way harder than it looks.
Really?
I was like, ding, that's all I wanted to hear right there. And that's the only person that's ever played it. It's just one of those things. If you're a magician, you come out and, you levitate and somebody says, can you show me how to do that so I can do it for those people? Well, no, you don't do that. No, that's your thing that you did. Right. But so the washboard got started from Washboard Willie, and I've been doing it forever. And it's kind of cool because he never, got on TV or doing anything like that. And I just set out. We got some videotape to NBC, and they liked it. And man, they called me one day and they go, "This was like whatever, Barbara, whatever from NBC, I'm the producer, America's Got Talent. How's your day?" I go, I'll tell you whenever you tell me why you called.
Right.
She said, well, you're on the show this year. And I just, wow. I just
Wow.
screamed. And I went to Austin. I was there actually the last year Howard Stern was there, and he was just really rude. I was always kind of a Howard fan. Boy, asked me
Right.
if I was a married man. I said, no. I can see why no woman wants somebody like you that did something stupid like that. And I was like, man. And that day at sound checks, I had to play for 7 or 8 different producers. So I had to play this one song. I was doing a song from Newgrass Revival called Can't Stop Now. And it's really good. I did a thing. I was runner up to Entertainer of the Year in Las Vegas, doing a skit with it that was really good. And I don't like to walk around and go, well, I did this and I did this and I did, but it's just kind of stuff you did. It falls into the story, you know. So the war sport evolved around that, and it's been around forever.
And that's, don't go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I just went ka-ching.
Okay. Well, we need to have a demonstration for sure, but also think about the stuff that we're going to do. I think that all of this stuff is going to come into play at some point.
Well, the stuff we're going to do, we're definitely going to have a part in the show where we bring all these kids up on the stage, and they all get their own little washboard, and they're the Branson all new washboard band group.
Right.
It doesn't matter if they can play it or not, but each washboard will have a little number on the back of it. And at the end of that, you tell the parents, how would you like to buy the exact washboard that your son or daughter played in the show on the stage at Branson?
Right.
So you got 10 of them, let's say, so you're going to sell those. And then I've had a lot of people, I play a cajon. Is that how you say it? The little wooden box things.
No, tell me about that. What is that? Tell me about that too.
It's the box thing. When you see the people sitting on the little box and they tap it with their hands like a drum. Right. I've got one that you strap on and it goes on your chest. It's more of a portable one. Okay. But the guy that makes them is Lucon Drums out in Pennsylvania, I think. So I'm one of the endorsees with him. And it's very cool. He asked me one time, do you ever think about making the washboard? I said, yeah. He said, well, I make the wooden instruments and stuff. I said, I know. He said, well, we'll have to get together sometime. Because when me and Dale get busy in Branson,
yes.
I think I'm going to have to see there's Fender guitars and there's Gibson guitars, right. There's all kinds of guitars. I think there needs to be a reed washboard.
Right.
And it needs to be the professional one that's handmade, like what I play. It has replaceable wood blocks and everything. You can change them all. Kind of like the old track lighting. Boom, pop that in, twist it. All the pieces on this, you can design it to match you if you want different colors and stuff. And then I want one that's just normal for young kids that want to start with rhythm playing. And then I want one that's just got, it would probably say you're the ticket on it. And that's one that you hang by your fireplace or something like that. I think that's a big business because it's just something you don't see all the time. And I could take this thing. We could be out at we'd be at the Crane Brother Festival, and I could strap this around your neck, and I could show you what to do, and you could start doing it, and you'd be a hit. People would be like, "Oh my gosh, Dale, that's awesome!"
Right.
It's not so much, and now it's hard to play it good, but it's not so much that as it's just something you don't see every day.
Yes, definitely.
And which every time I think of something you don't see every day, you're the ticket goes through my head. So
yes.
Yeah. Everybody out there that's watching this, I know some of this you watch, you go, Michael's kind of goofy. And but you need to pay attention. And when I say you're the ticket, you need to remember that.
Right, definitely. Definitely. Because we might own the domain. We just might.
And and I noticed I came down the strip while I go down here. There's already different shows that are putting up on the billboards of who's going to be there next year. Right. They're already changing stuff around. That's what happens. It closes in Christmas, and January they start working toward next year. So when me and you talk about this stuff, it's
gonna be cool.
I need to get busy.
And so
if you're out there and you just have a lot of cashola and you need a write-off and you'd like to be invested in something that there's nothing like it.
Right.
It can be expandable to different cities
Right.
real easy, and you get great money coming back to you.
Right.
That's our accountant, D Dale. He's the one that takes care of all that.
No. I'm nowhere near that.
We had to find another accountant. Okay. Oh, we're not
I'm
there.
not an accountant.
Oh, okay. But
I don't
anyway,
want to play that one.
yeah, we'd love to sit down and talk to you. There might be somebody on here that actually sees this, and it's you don't have to know anything about music or a show or anything. You just
because Mike knows the shows. He knows what to do. That's what I'm saying.
Who, me?
Yes, you sure do.
I do.
And you know how to talk.
And Dale knows how to get you on the phone and talk to you when he can get a word in edgewise. Yeah.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. And that's why this is such a good setup, because you get to talk and I get to sit here and listen.
Yeah. I just got to get a different room. I got the same background.
You're going to get the room now. And so
here.
Okay, so hopefully Brad Price tomorrow, and then maybe more stuff going on. You got everything going on. You got your product placement.
If I'm available, I'm starting to get pretty busy.
Well, we love you, Mike. We'll talk to you later.
Well, thank you, Dale, and I guess I'll talk to you. We're not going to do the thing tonight, right?
No, well, I've not heard from Colton, so let's assume that's not.
That's fine. Happen. Yeah, that's fine.
We'll do it, but we'll do tomorrow at 4 for sure.
Tomorrow at 4.
Yes.
So if you're out there, tune in. And actually, if you know how to get a hold of Dale, you can have him ask me a question.
Yes, that'd be great.
I'm not sure what it'd be about, but I guarantee it'd be about something, because I've got a whole book about stuff.
Yes, and you can answer any question, I'm sure. So yeah, that's perfect, and we'll talk about that tomorrow.
Okay, I'll let you go.
All right.
Sayonara or sayonara or whatever it is.
Shanana.
Redneck. Shania? Yeah, Shania Twain.
There we go, and there we go.